Story time about how my boyfriend is abusive to his parents. What should I do? Disclaimer, not my story time. It's on Instagram. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 11 months. Here's a little backstory. We both work at the same company and live very far from our parents. I try to go home once a month since my parents are only 2 hours away from me. His parents live in a different country. For that reason, I haven't met his parents. But he's met my parents and he's been completely respectful and really nice to them. So I never suspected that he could be abusive to his parents. So here's what happened. We flew over to his parents and they are very rich. His mom is an interior designer and their house is phenomenal. His dad owns a couple of businesses and together they are very wealthy. His parents went to pick us up at the airport and everything was fine until we got to their house. They decided to give me a tour of their ginormous mansion. That's when I noticed that my boyfriend was being kind of rude to them. Every time they would ask me a question, he would answer and be like, duh, she likes pizza. He even asked his mom to stop asking stupid questions. I stopped him in his tracks and in front of his parents I said, why are you being rude to your parents? The look on his parents' face was of shock. And that's when I realized that they had never disciplined him. Then it got worse. Part 2 is up. Story time about how my boyfriend is abusive to his parents. Disclaimer is now my story time. I said on Instagram. The look on his parents' face when I called him out for being rude to them was complete shock. After they gave me the tour of the house, we decided to sit down for dinner. They are so rich that they have their own chef. That's when the chef comes out and starts serving all the food. And as soon as my boyfriend sees what they served, he grabs his glass of water and bangs it against the table. He looks at both of his parents and says, what the fuck is wrong with you both? The color from their faces drain. That's when they said, I'm sorry, we didn't know he was gonna make this. The chef decided to make a really fancy meatloaf. Apparently he hates meatloaf. Then he said, well, tell him to make something else. His mother gets up and runs to the kitchen and asks the chef to make him a burger, because that's his favorite food. Which, by the way, I never even knew that. He always told me his favorite food was Indian. His mom comes back from the kitchen, then he looks at me and says, you don't have to eat that shit if you don't want to. I told him that he was being a brat and that I'd be happy to eat the meatloaf. His parents look at me and smile. My boyfriend just gets up from the table and runs away. Can you believe I had to chase after him? Part 3 is up. Story time about how my boyfriend is abusive to his parents. What should I do? Disclaimer is not my story time. It's on Instagram. That's when my stupid boyfriend runs away from the dinner table. So of course I have to chase him. And of course I'm angry at this point. I ask him why he's being so rude to his parents. Then he literally denies that he just did anything. His words were, you're reading too much into it. My parents are stupid anyway. I looked at him and I said, do you not see the mansion we're standing in? How did 2 stupid people manage to build this mansion, 4 businesses, and put you through school? He rolls his eyes at me and says, Jesus Christ, you sound like my parents. I told him that he was a privileged rat. You see, I come from a family where we don't have chefs, and we don't have millions of dollars, or a mansion. So I appreciate everything my parents did for me. I went back to the dining room and I told his parents it was nice to meet them, but that I could no longer be with their son. That's when his mom started begging me not to leave. It was hard, but I called an Uber and I went home. My boyfriend's been begging me to get back with him. He's trying really hard too. His parents are even offering to pay my student loans. I'm honestly confused now. What should I do?
I regularly visit a gentleman's club in my area, and for the past few months, I've been seeing one particular dancer, Tiffany. In addition to tipping her and getting dances, I buy Tiffany at least 1 drink every shift. She always requests the same thing, a screwdriver made with a certain brand of vodka. A while back, I went in and Tiffany sat with me as usual. I ordered Tiffany's drink from the barmaid and got one for myself as well. But when I sipped it, I didn't taste any alcohol at all despite having seen the barmaid pour from the same bottle as she used to make Tiffany's drink. Tiffany excused herself to freshen up, and after the barmaid walked away, I grabbed the bottle and poured some into an empty glass. As I suspected, it wasn't vodka, it was plain water. When Tiffany came back, I asked if we could go to the back for a dance. When she sat on my lap, I asked her about the fake vodka. I told her that I knew it was really water. She tried to tell me it was a one-time thing because she's visiting her sick grandma tomorrow and doesn't want to be hungover. I pressed her and asked her if she'd been getting water shots the entire time we've been seeing each other. She finally admitted that she's a Mormon and doesn't drink alcohol at all. I admit that I got pretty upset about how she lied. So she called the bouncer and I got kicked out. When I tried to go back, I was told that I've been permanently barred from the club. I told him that I wanted to speak to a manager and he threatened to kick my ass into next fucking week. I went home and I called the club and the manager answered. I told him that I was basically frauded and that I wouldn't demand my money back for the aborted lap dance, but I wanted a refund on every drink I was restricted to buying for Tiffany. I've been seeing her every Friday and Saturday plus a few other weeknights from time to time. So even assuming that I only bought her 2 drinks on Friday and Saturdays, every screwdriver is $12, so that puts me at $960 spent on nothing but orange juice and water. He called me a yutz and hung up, but they haven't heard the end of this. Am I in the wrong for demanding a refund on drinks that I bought a stripper? I've been friends with my boyfriend for years, actually together for about 3 months now. He's the sweetest guy I know and he's been seriously hurt in the past, and I'm so happy that we're finally clicking after being flirt buddies since MS. We're 25 years old now. Whenever we go out to eat, he always orders the most basic thing 99% of the time. It's a cheeseburger plain, ketchup on the side with honey mustard to dip for his fries. He actually loves exotic food, but he says that the menus and making choices stresses him out, so he doesn't want to buy into the thought of it. I love trying exotic things, and to me, that's the reason to go out to eat. To me, it's so exciting. My issue is things always look and sound better than they turn out to be, and I decided that I actually just wanted a burger. So usually I'll ask him if he'll switch with me, and he always does, and he never complains. Most of the time, he even says how good his food was. To me, it's a win for both of us. It gets him out of his comfort zone and we don't waste food. Last night, we both had to work really late, so we met up at a sports bar. They were having a calamari special, which sounded really good. He ordered a cheeseburger as usual. I just wasn't feeling the calamari when it came out, so I asked if he'd switch with me. He said no. I asked him why not, and I said that I didn't want it to go to waste. He said then you shouldn't have fucking ordered it. I was like, excuse me? He then went into a tirade and said I treat him like a garbage disposal. He's a grown man. I'm being immature. Don't pin my crap on him, etc. I said it sounded like that was a rehearsed speech. He said maybe it was since I insist on stealing his food every time we go somewhere. I started crying and he said don't start that bullshit with me. Here, have both meals, and he got up and walked out. He hasn't called or texted me and it's 6 in the morning, and I honestly thought he would call to apologize by now. I called my sister and near quote, "You're an a-hole for waking me up at 5:30 and he's going to see you as asking as insisting. That's really crappy of you to put that pressure on him." And she basically hung up. Am I in the wrong for asking, not insisting, that my boyfriend switch meals with me when I don't like what I've ordered at the restaurant?
Am I the asshole for wearing a tight dress despite my friend asking me not to? I, 20 female, and my friends 22 female and 22 female are currently on vacation. For the sake of the story, I will call them L and K. L, K, and I decided that while we are on vacation for 1 week, we would go clubbing as much as possible. All of my friends know that I have a feminine sense of style. My entire wardrobe consists of pink, miniskirts, dresses, heels, and lots of jewelry. Not once has this ever seemingly been a problem with my friends, at least none that was mentioned directly to me. When you go clubbing, most people tend to wear tight outfits, so my suitcase was packed with several outfits meant for clubbing. Last night, after spending our day by the pool, I started Googling clubbing places near us and broached the topic of starting our first night partying. All seemed excited, so we all headed up to our room to start getting ready. I was just about done with my makeup and hair when I grabbed the dress I was planning on wearing, and suddenly the mood felt extremely sour. For sake of full clarity, it's a very short pink leather dress. Kay spoke up and mentioned that I should probably pick another outfit. I asked her why, and she said since we are all going together, none of us should try to outdo each other. I explained that I'm not trying to outdo anyone and just like my dress. Ella sided with her, saying that I was clearly trying to one-up the both of them and was actually like a pick-me. I told them I'm wearing the dress no matter what, and I was sure they would look just as if not more beautiful than me in their outfits. They barely talked to me for the remainder of getting ready and split up from me the moment the Uber dropped us off. It's Tuesday, and they are still being cold and short with me. I kind of want to go home, but I'm curious if I'm being an overdramatic asshole. Am I the asshole?
I'm an asshole for refusing to let my sister have contact with the children she gave up. For background, I have adopted my sister's children, and they have been with me for 4 years now. She hasn't seen them or tried to get in contact with them for the whole time they've been with me. I recently started getting messages from her saying she wants to see the boys again. I ignored them for a while, but discussed this with the boys and the social worker, and I was told they can decide where if they want to see her, they can, but it would have to be supervised. However, when I asked them, they all said they didn't want to meet her. I asked several times separately and together, and they said the same thing, they don't want to see her. I told the social worker this. They spoke and confirmed it with them, and then the next time my sister messaged me, I told her to contact their social worker to discuss it. She was not very happy with that answer and has been calling me the asshole for brainwashing her boys and refusing to let her see them. She's managed to turn my whole family against me, who is all now saying I'm the asshole for not giving her another chance to reconnect with them. So now I'm kind of starting to doubt myself. I would never force the boys to see her, but maybe I am the asshole because I didn't try hard enough to talk to them about it.